Part 3, the rehabilitation of an absent father. Congratulations, Brandon, you did it. You have inherited all the problems, all the issues, the generational curse passed down from your father, and now it's instilled in you. Congratulations, Brandon. So remember when I said that my parents never taught me anything, right? Like they never physically sat me down and taught me how to go right instead of going left. Well, watching my father, I started to do the same thing. So in hindsight, my father taught me a lot, right? 4 kids, 3 baby mothers, 1 child in Philadelphia, 1 child in Florida, and 2 are in New York. Congratulations. And I want to be daddy of the year, right? So if I do something as small as buying you a pair of sneakers, calling you for 5 minutes, taking you to go get your hair cut, taking you to the park, respect me as daddy because that's what I've done. But see, this is the harsh reality though, right? I chose everything over my children. I chose women over my children. I chose drugs over my children. I chose to chill on the block and talk about nothing over my children. Basketball, football. I chose my pride over my children. I chose to prove to you who I really wasn't over my children. Congratulations, Brandon. And you still want your children to respect you, right? Because you're daddy, right? Nah, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. But the harsh reality, I don't want to face. The harsh reality is, Brandon, you're barely doing the bare minimum. You're barely doing the bare minimum, and you still want the honor and respect from your children. How? How does that work? But I learned to carry the generational curse, and I'm carrying it. I barely see my children. And even with the ones that stayed with me, yeah, come on over. You can bring them over. I stay with them for a few minutes, and then I'm right out the door. You know how hard that was to admit to these things? Because in my mind, shit, she's wrong. Who is she? The baby mothers are wrong. You knew I didn't want to have a child, but you still wanted to have a child with me. You knew that I wasn't shit. It was impossible for me to be a good father, but you still wanted to have a child with me. Why did you still continue to want to be with me? I wasn't nothing. I showed you that I wasn't nothing. I showed you that I was an addict. I showed you that I did not have it in my heart to be who you wanted me to be. But is that an excuse? Well, if you tell me I can't see my kids today, you know what I used to say? Keep them. You raise them. You be with them. And that was just my opportunity to do what? Do me, right? Because my character already said that this is not for me. My character already said that you are a deadbeat. You a deadbeat, you a player, you a bum, yeah, all of that. So they got them. You wanted them. Raise them. You wanted to have kids by me, so why don't you raise them? Now, some argue that, okay, well, whatever the mother and the father is going through can cause the father to say, so what? Deal with them then. I mean, that's a different topic. I know within me the things that I've done wrong, and what made me an absent father. I know with me, even when I felt like that I was doing right, even when I spent all the time in the world, no, you have to consistently keep going. And I wasn't consistent. For 14 years of my life, I have never been consistent. And it hurts. So my grandfather did it to my father, and my father did it to me, and here I go doing it to my children. How do I gain their respect? Well, one is getting older, so he's starting to read in between the lines, which is my son. My daughter's getting older, and now it's just like, let me just roll with the punches. And my last two children, they're getting older, but they still don't understand. The pain that I caused towards my children. And yes, I had men in my life. I had the men, but the one that I wanted to learn from the most, he had issues too. He only was taught. He only did what he learned, not taught, rather. And it hurts to know that I was fronting. I was a fraud. I was running around here acting like I'm daddy of the year. I was giving my time. That's like in part 2, I said like, my father, I was a little jealous that my father, he was there with my other siblings. But how about, what if my kids was jealous that I was there with a particular sibling? I mean, I did live with my son, me and my last son, we lived together. Out of all my children, I spent the most time with my last son in the same house. I miss months, damn years from seeing my daughter. I wasn't raising my oldest son to become a man. And when I was giving him game, right? Shit, he probably was just like, man, you high. You high. But I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind and just act like I'm listening. Now, how do you recover from something like this, right? Because all the pain that you put your children through, now you're facing a harsh reality. Like, how do you recover? How do you sit back and say, okay, now it's time to face the madness. Now it's time to step up and face the madness. Because your run is over with now. You had a run of doing whatever it is that you wanted to do. And now you're really ready to be a man. Because I thought sometimes I was a man. I played it off like I was a man. Now, no. Now it's time you're ready to be a man. The rehabilitation of an absent father. Part 4. Stay tuned.